Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Also, thank you to Randy for doing double duty. It's tough to do an evaluation and a speech in the same night, so credit to him where it is due. So tonight I'd like to evaluate Randy's speech, One Hot Saturday in July 1955. In an email, Randy told me that he was interested in building interest in his story by using a little mystery and leaving some details out. And then he also he was hopeful that he was going to be able to connect with his audience. I'd like to talk about three things. Of course, I'll use the classic sandwich approach. So, Randy, I want to talk about something I think you did well, something that I think you could tweak just a little bit for some greater impact, and then something that I think you absolutely excelled with. So, the first thing I think you did well, and in part, it was a very noticeable element for me because it was very much in contrast from your normal speaking style, was your tone. And when I say tone, I mean your facial expressions, the tone of your voice, your gestures, your body language. You're often a very animated speaker, which makes you very compelling and very easy to listen to. And in this speech, you were very somber and maybe even restrained. And I don't think that was a bad thing. I think it was absolutely appropriate to the story you were telling. But it was very interesting to see kind of that other side of your speaking. I think it fit the speech very well, that kind of more quiet, somber tone. So really nice to see that side of you there. One thing that I think you could do, one thing you could tweak for some increased impact was the ending. I think you did a really great job of kind of building that mystery throughout the story. We weren't sure who you were talking about or why this one day in July was maybe important. Uh, and I was kind of waiting for that Paul Harvey moment of, and now you know the rest of the story. And I felt a little unresolved. I think you could have looped back to a number of times you said it was a different time. And I think maybe you could say, something like, well, it was a different time, but a mother's love never fades, or a mother's love is always the same. Something like that would just really kind of hit it and punch it there at the end. Um, I had another note, something to that effect. But I think just a small adjustment to your conclusion will totally make this speech, take the speech from good to great. The final thing that I want to talk about that I think you really excelled with in this speech was your level of detail. I find that you do this really well in all of your speeches, Randy, is that you give us a lot of detail, but it's also very germane to the story and it doesn't muddy it down, right? I had things like Doris's upbringing, the homesteading, the third generation, schooled by the nuns. And what was really nice is a lot of those details fit together. So you talked about how Doris, was schooled by the nuns in, um, uh, and I forget which city in Saskatchewan, but then you talked about her playing the rosary in her book, right? And those are really vivid images that then we have a little context for, and they fit together really nicely. So I love the level of detail you were able to provide us that still continue to support the story and painted such a rich and vivid picture. That's actually the note that I have here in my evaluation form. So thank you so much, Randy, for yet another entertaining speech. I always look forward to hearing from you. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Christine.